Big takeaway today.
Yeah, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And it seems that Pittsburgh is collapsing. Everybody in Pittsburgh, you guys are in Pittsburgh right now, you may want to get some guns. You may want to get ways to defend yourself and your family because the police are no longer helping you. As you've seen for that very short clip of the video, yeah, they're not coming for you. They are going to ignore you. They're going to do what they can, but in most instances, you're going to be on your own. And this is when people are going to start realizing maybe it wasn't a good idea to get rid of the police. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to get rid of their money because now you guys are all up for yourselves. You all have to defend yourselves because, well, there's just no police to help you. We're going to show you the actual full part of this video here because you guys probably should want to know what's going on so you guys don't, get, well, attacked.
Big takeaway today.
Yeah, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency.
What's the big takeaway today?
Yeah, Susan, residents of the city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency. That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency. Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. And during the overnight shift, there will be as few as 20 officers to cover the entire city. The chief said today the data supports that.
Yes, it's enough to cover the entire city in those hours when we have 8% of the time people are calling. I'm confident in the decisions that we make that it impacts this bureau and the city in a much better way than we have in the past.
Now, the chief also acknowledging today that some of these changes are due to staffing shortages. He's down to 740 officers, well below the 850 they would like to have. Now, coming up new at 5, residents, city council, and the police union all weighing in on these big changes that begin Monday. Live in the studio, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
So yes, as you can see it, it's not great. It seems it's much to be desired to want to be in Pittsburgh because between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. it is the purge. It is Armageddon. You are out for yourself. And don't expect for police to come and then you're going to come and burglar your house. Well, normally when people are going to come burglar your house, they're probably going to have guns. They'll probably kill you and your family and all that other stuff. This sounds extreme, but no, it's definitely a possibility. You need to defend yourself, and that's just straight up the reality. We have this here from, again, Lives to TikTok that broke this news. Pittsburgh police will no longer respond to certain calls, including theft, harassment, criminal mischief, and burglary alarms. Between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any police stations. Buy guns, buy ammo. The police will not protect you. And they're not wrong. They will not. And again, we go further into this article here. It said calls will be directed to a telephone recording unit where reports can be filed over the phone. And according to the WXC Channel 11, usually from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., it's Armageddon. The city's 6 police stations will operate without desk officers present. During these hours, only about 20 officers will be available overnight shifts to cover the entire city. Call boxes linked to 911 will be available for emergencies during this time. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Theft can easily turn into an emergency. Harassment can really turn into emergency. Criminal mischief can also be something that can turn into emergency, and burglar alarms can definitely be something that can be turned into an emergency. These are actually all emergency type things, though. These are not like they might be low at the beginning, but they can all easily escalate to emergencies to a bigger problem. Like you can't just cut this type of stuff off, right? Like harassment could turn into a beating or a killing or an actual sexual assault, right? That could be what happened. Theft can lead to all those things from the same thing with the harassment or just death. Criminal mischief could be the same thing where it could just lead to death. And burglar alarms can, lead to death as well. All these things are not actually good. And they're just something before probably a tragedy can happen. And you need people and officers on the line to stop the tragedy from happening. Most of the time, officers will get there after the tragedy and the horrific deed has been done, right? That's usually the case. They're after reports for what happened. But if they can should at least try to stop it. But they're not going to. So, again, you're on your own for 4 hours, guys. For 4 hours, you're on your own. And I would highly recommend not going outside at all between that time at all. I don't go anywhere near outside when it's this time at night in general, but especially in Pittsburgh because this looks horrible. Horrible. The Pittsburgh Police Chief Larry Scarrato has sought to reassure residents that these measures are sufficient. He emphasized that the staffing plan is designed to address the limited resources available during these overnight hours. Yes, sufficient for your staff and your actual police force. But it's not sufficient for actual people that are going to get punished for this. There is not any data to support us having our zones manned by personnel from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. for the very one-off instance. I can't make an exception, said Scarrato. BS. No, again, you need the data's not there because it's never been tried. It's never been tested before, right? Like, we never actually had to where we literally had to purge at our front door. So, obviously, there's not going to be very much data because we never tested this because testing it would have been, it's asinine. And now that's going on. And this is all due to understaffing. This is all due to what you're seeing here, to where Missouri Pittsburgh did all this stuff, as you can see right here, the punishment of police and all that other great stuff, getting rid of the police, reduce the funding of the police and stuff like that, and now you only have yourselves to blame. And when it gets to like 4th of July and some of these other big holidays and type stuff, that's pretty crucial, you guys are going to really feel the hurt. Really feel it. And it's just, I can't imagine this is actually happening. This is crazy. Honestly, it would have been better if the Pittsburgh police didn't even announce this, because now the criminals are going to know that it's pretty much free reign for 4 hours. Like, it's that bad. I can't understand what's happening in this country, guys. This is insane. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy. Be safe out there, boys and girls. You're gonna need it. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.